I'm Susan Koenig, and this is Somatics for You. This video is part of a series of videos emphasizing somatic foot movements, feet movements. And I'm obviously doing it from a seated position. We're often at a desk or in a seated position, and if your feet are bothering you, or if you're like me, I'm rehabilitating a sprained left foot. These have been great movements for me to do as I'm sitting at my desk and at my computer. I'm going to be focusing on Dorsi and plantar, Dorsiflexion, bringing the foot and toes towards, the knee is bent because I'm in a chair. Dorsiflexion, bringing the foot and toes towards the kneecap. And then plantar flexion, the ball of the foot will remain planted, but the heel will come up, contracting the calf muscles, which this guy isn't able to do because of the way he's wired together. But you'll be able to see it as I do it. And then I'm going to do a series of moves of internal rotation of the foreleg with a little bit of abduction in the foot where the bottom of the toes go outward, and then some internal rotation of the foreleg where the flat foot and toes go inward. And then I'm going to take those movements and combine them with some quad movement at the knee, where I'll be taking either the external rotation and abduction or internal rotation and adduction, and then straightening the knee to get some of the effect up through from the foot all the way up through the quadriceps muscle, and the knee will straighten, so we'll be getting all the quads, and then the rectus femoris, which is the one quad that also crosses the hip joint. I have found these very valuable moves for myself, for my clients, and in rehabilitating my left sprained foot. So I'm just going to start one foot at a time. This is plantar flexion. It's really nice in the seated position because now the ball of my foot can remain flat. This phase happens in walking. The heel comes up, the calf is contracted, and because my knee is bent, I'm really focusing on the soleus muscle. The gastrocnemius is coming along. And then I'm going to slowly release. Oh, you can see the jitteriness. That means I have some contraction happening. I will repeat that. Plantar flexion. Slowly release. That means, this jitteriness means that I've got some contraction happening in that muscle. And so this is an excellent movement for me to do at this time. Because of my sprained foot, my walk has been kind of gimpy and off balance, and so I really do expect to have some muscular contraction from compensation that I've developed. And again, plantar flexion, emphasis on the soleus underneath the gastrocnemius, and release. And now dorsiflexion, I'm going to bring my ankles a little bit out more under my knee joint. And now dorsiflexion, where the top of the foot, I'm actually trying to bring my toes a little more forward. They're not doing very well, but I'm giving it a try, trying to make the connection between my brain and my toes. And dorsiflexion, slowly releasing. We're using the pendicular process here. In the pendicular process, the first part is to voluntarily contract a group of muscles. I'm mainly contracting the anterior tibialis. And the second part is to slowly and with control release out of that contraction. It's a great way to release any kind of excess chronic contraction, general muscle contraction, and tightness. And now, coming from my left foot, which is the foot I sprained, I will be very careful to make sure I stay within my comfort zone. I'm only going to go this far. I don't feel it so much in my toes, but I begin to feel it in the back of my calf, and I don't want my calf to contract. And slowly come down. Again, I have quite a lot of jitteriness in this position. So my soleus, actually on both legs, is holding quite a lot of residual contraction. Again, I'm making a voluntary contraction in plantar flexion to my comfort, and slowly and with whatever control I can muster, letting my foot come back down to complete rest, and then I'm going to repeat a third time. Now it's getting a little easier. I can feel that some of the contraction has been released because I don't feel it in the same way I did when I started. And now dorsiflexion, bringing my foot up, leaving the heel on the floor, trying to bring my toes forward, and slowly releasing. And again, dorsiflexion with actually toe extension to the extent that I can, and slowly letting that release. One more time, dorsiflexion with toe extension, meaning the toes are coming up forward towards my kneecap, slowly letting that release. Now I'm going to work with my whole foreleg. So the foreleg, the tibia and the fibula, of course it's the lower part of the knee joint with the femur, but the tibia and fibula are hinge around the talus for ankle flexion and extension. But what I'm going to do is do a little bit of rotation of my foreleg in external rotation and abduction of the foot, internal rotation and adduction of the foot. I'll start with my right foreleg and foot. I'm going to start with, I can tell I want to start with internal rotation. I can just feel it, so that's where I'm going to start. You start in comfort. So I'm turning the foreleg inward and my toes are pointing in. My foot is remaining flat. That's adduction of the foot with internal rotation of the foreleg. This happens underneath the knee joint. The knee has to be bent to get that, because that way you haven't locked your knee in with the femur. And then slowly release. Internal rotation with adduction and release. Internal rotation of the foreleg with adduction, slowly release. And then external rotation of the foreleg with abduction. The foot is flat, but my toes are now pointed outward, and let that release. External rotation of the foreleg, abduction of the foot, let that release. I'm trying to keep my femur still. It may be moving a little bit. External rotation of my foreleg, abduction of my foot. And now with the foot that I sprained, I want to go outward first. External rotation of the foreleg, abduction of the foot. And I can feel it a teeny bit, so I'm going to be very cautious. I want to stay within my comfort zone. External rotation of the foreleg with abduction of the foot. External rotation with abduction of the foot. And back to neutral. Now, internal rotation. My internal sensation is saying be even more careful on this one. It's not so much in the foreleg, but as my foot adducts, I can tell that this part on the lateral part where I sprained, it doesn't want to be stretched. It wants to go into just a little bit of lengthening, but not a lot. Internal rotation with adduction and back to neutral. Internal rotation with adduction and back to neutral. Now I'm going to add some quad work with that, both at the knee and at the hip. I'm going to start with internally rotating my foreleg and adducting my foot, and then I'm going to extend at the knee, which is quads, and I'm keeping my thigh on the chair, or my pelvis on the chair. I'm not lifting, I'm not trying to lift my thigh in more flexion. And then I'm just going to let this come back down. Internal rotation with adduction at the foreleg and foot, and I can feel the quad really contract. And let that release. Internal rotation, foreleg adduction, and extension at the knee, which is a quadriceps move, and let that release. Now I'm going to externally rotate with abduction and straighten the knee. I can really feel the medial aspect of the quads come into play. External rotation, abduction, quad extension at the knee. Slowly release. External rotation of the foreleg with abduction, extension at the knee. I can really feel it in the medial quad. And relax. And now I'm going to go to the left side, the side where I've sprained my foot, and I'll just go with my comfort level. I can tell I want to go into external rotation with abduction and extension of the knee, really feeling it in the medial quads. Make sure I'm breathing. External rotation, abduction, knee extension. External rotation, abduction, knee extension. Slowly release. This one I have to be the most cautious on, at least in the foot. Internal rotation of the foreleg, adduction, extension at the knee. I can really feel the lateral aspect of the quad. Internal rotation, adduction, extension at the knee. Always a slow, controlled release, paying attention to what you're doing. One more. Slowly release and relax. I hope you try these movements of the foot, foreleg, and knee from a chair to help you become more flexible and mobile throughout your whole foot, and also in combination with your leg, your foreleg, and your knee. Thank you.